Happy am I to be here again to continue where we stopped the last time. My name is on the screen. If you've not followed me, you may want to do that. If you've not subscribed to this channel, maybe you want to also try that. And if you like the content that you're going to see, you have to try to also hit on the subscribe button. So we have been working on a series, and that's about managing or administering Microsoft Teams using PowerShell, and this is going to be a continuation. So this is the lab environment, where we have been working on inside of this virtual machine. So I want to just clear this. In the last video we tried to use Microsoft, the PowerShell to work on Teams channel on Microsoft Teams. So we've tried to get the list of the channel, we created channels, we updated channels, and then we deleted channels with the commands that we have. Not to worry, I would have to paste these commands in the video description, just so if you want to make use of them in your own practical scenarios or even in your lab environment, you can try them out also. So having said that, I'm just going to get rid of everything that is here just so we have a clean slate as usual, right? So I'm just going to do delete, and then everything there is gone. So we want to manage, today we are looking at how to manage policies with how to manage policy using PowerShell, or how to manage Teams policies using PowerShell. So what are we looking at? First of all, the get CS Teams meeting policy is going to list out all the meeting policies you have and the attributes that you have right inside of them, or the settings that you have inside of them. Just on a high level explanation, the grant CS Teams meeting policy is used to assign policy to a user, right? So I would bring up the tenants that we'll be looking at, and then let's look at meeting policies even there, right? So if we come to the tenants that we are using, and then we come here, we come to meetings, and then we come to meeting policies. Where are you? Meeting policies is here. We would see default policies that come with your Microsoft Teams environment, and this include the global policy. You have the all on, you have the all off, you have restricted anonymous. Let's look at the list. You have the global policy, you have all on, you have restricted anonymous, all off, restricted anonymous, no recording, and kiosk. But this that you see here, this is actually a custom policy. That's why you see that the custom policy is saying yes. Just so I explain this, custom policy is just saying that okay, you created a policy and you can also delete it. But if you highlight a policy that is a default policy, look at it, is not going to give you the option to delete. So what I'm trying to say, all these policies have some settings inside of it. Some recordings are turned off, transcriptions are turned on, expirations are set on these policies. So you can, at a glance from PowerShell, not having to go through all of the policy at one after the other and try to look at the settings inside of it. You can see the entire policies in your environment and see the settings that are made on those policies. So enough of the talk, let us see how this happens. So if we look at get CS Teams meeting policy, this gets you all the Teams meeting policies that you have. So I'm just going to hit, it's going to give us a long list of command, because it's going to check all the policies that we have in the tenant. All the policies that we currently have and all the settings that you have on those policies. The first policy you have here is the global policy, which shows you that there is no description for that, and then it's just showing you all the settings that you have there. And then you can pause this video to look at it, and especially this is something that you want to look at. The expiration policy is 120, and then you can see all that you have here that you may want to look at. So just after that, if you scroll down a bit, then you have another one. You have another policy just below it that will also show you the attributes that is there. So this is the all on policy, right? So you will see that it has its own settings also just by scrolling down. After this, then you have the next policy also showing you what settings it has inside of it. So why is this even important and why is it interesting? Because just on the same page you can just click on this and you can see it. And if for example you are interested in having this, you can also export it. And even if you want to, just by virtue of work, just try to see how you can copy those policies. You can just put something there and then copy them to a sheet and then say, okay, this is what they are, and then you can put them by the side, or you can put one policy side by side the other and see how they behave. Let's say for example you want to put global policy alongside with the one custom policy that is created. Of course, you can just quickly put it here for the global policy. You just make sure you know where that is ending. That is, if you want to manually copy it, then you just stop where it stopped, and then you can copy the next policy and then try to look at it and put it side by side to evaluate. So I'm just going to paste only this, so I could do this to just have a look at the policy at a glance and then put another one on a notepad and evaluate them. So it becomes more interesting when you have more policies that you want to put side by side your screen to see what settings are in there. So that's why the Get CS Teams meeting policy is very important. Now, what is the essence of the Grant CS Teams meeting policy? The Grant CS Teams meeting policy is used to assign policy to a user, right? So for example, coming to this place and coming to users, if you come to users in Teams Admin Center, manage users, and then you want to bring up a user like this user here. So if you bring up this user here and you click on the user, and then if this comes up and then you go to the policies of this user, if you come to policies, what you would see is under meeting policy, if I scroll down here now and then I see meeting policy, you're going to see that the user is on global policy, right? So the next thing we want to do is let us even copy the name of this user. This is the username of this user, I mean the email address of the user. If we come here and then we want to say, okay, this user, we want to change the policy assigned to you, and you know the speed it takes for PowerShell or policy that are assigned via PowerShell to take effect. So if you want something to take effect almost immediately, you may want to give that or set that policy of a user from the PowerShell terminal, right? Looking at this, you can say, okay, let's get Teams policy again, just so we see the list of the policies that we have. Now the point is that if you look at this last policy here, let me see what the policy is saying, or let me see the name of the policy is kiosk, right? So let's say I want to give the kiosk policy to this user. I don't mind, I just want to do a demo on that. So irrespective of the setting that is there, so this could be like a custom policy or any policy, or even if I want to scroll up to see the policy I have here, I can decide to go pick up the policy from here. All these are default policy. Or let's even say that I want to give this user, I want to give him a default policy, I mean a custom policy, or even if I want to create like a custom policy to match with what I want to assign to this guy. So what I will do is just to come to meeting policy. So what I would do now is to click on add policy. So I will just say test YouTube, and then I'm just going to randomly toggle on, toggle off things here that we meet with what I want to set for the user. And then once I click on save, this policy is now created. And what is the name of the policy? The name of the policy is test YouTube. So what I want to do is to copy the name of the policy just to be sure I don't make mistake. So what I would do now is if I come here and in the place where I have this policy name, I can decide to put that policy here. But then because it's a sentence, so what I want to do is I'll put quotation mark just so it is picking the whole stuff and running it together. So I'll just do this, and then yes. So the next thing I will do is just to run this policy here. I'm going to run this, and then if this is successful now, which is showing successful, the next thing I want us to do is to come back to the admin center here, and then let's come back to active users, the manage users here. And then the next thing we will do is to go to search for that user whom we use his identity, and check the policy, the meeting policy assigned to this user. And definitely at this point it should already be showing that the user is on this custom policy in terms of the meeting policies that is assigned to him. So let's just see, the meeting policy should be somewhere down below here. Meeting policy, you can see that he has picked up the YouTube policy already. This is the effective policy on this user if you check the meeting policy. So that is the essence of the grant CS policy command. So this the get CS is for you to, or get CS Teams meeting policy is for you to know or see the policies that are in place and their settings. And then the grant CS meeting policy is for you to assign or assign a policy to a user. And then of course that is how short it can be, right? So if you don't worry about the commands, I'm going to have them pasted on the video description so that you can have them to try out in your lab if I've not said so. So you need to know now. So if you've not liked this video, you may want to hit on the like button, and if you've not subscribed to this channel, you may also want to do that, because that is very important to us. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Peace.